Some money tips now in our Ask the Expert segment. Today we're going to talk about death. Sometimes sadness and grief can paralyze people.
Certified financial planner Andre Cave has some financial guidance on what to do and how to prepare ahead of the inevitable.
Sure. I mean, it's one of the hardest things that people plan for, but you know, we're all going to get there at some point. There are some things after you go through the initial, notify the family, have a funeral, things that get done actually even often at the funeral home, like ordering death certificates. That's extremely important when it comes to settling affairs because most financial institutions and government facilities, employers, will require usually an original certified copy. So it's important to try to do an inventory at the beginning to get an idea of how many you may need. A couple dozen, maybe 25 or so is a standard amount that people will get, because if you think of all the places you have to contact and they all require one, it's better to be safe than sorry.
What are things we can do now to best prepare ourselves for that moment? Are there things we should start thinking about doing? We're putting our money in certain places?
Well, it's not even just coming up with like beneficiary designations and how you title things, or even having a will. Things like making an inventory. If you think of today's day and age, there's a lot of things that are online and paperless, and how would somebody know where to go? They wouldn't know your passwords or usernames. So making a list and checking it when things change, like when there's a change of employer, check it once a year. Just make sure that you have a list of who somebody could contact and where things are. Like, for example, if you have stock certificates, are they in your safety deposit box? Are they with a broker? Those sorts of things.
When do you think that conversations should start, especially with children and their parents?
Well, when you have young children, one of the most important things you can do is put your wishes ahead of time in a will. And that's one of the things that happens pretty soon in the process as well, is you have to file a will with the state. And if you have a trust, you have to see who's the trustee, possibly contact an attorney. I know over the weekend I had a client of mine that passed away, and her husband had contacted me, and I'm helping them through the process. So having somebody that can help you, whether it's an accountant, an attorney, a financial advisor, can make the process a bit easier.
This seems like something that you should be updating, refreshing, coming back to anytime you have kind of like a milestone in your life. When you get married, you need to do this. When you have kids, you need to do this. You buy a house, these are all the times you
if
really
there's
need
a
to work
divorce,
on it.
You need to do it. When somebody passes away,
I was
you need
thinking
to do
positively.
it. I know, but when somebody passes away,
negative.
For example, and I love you will, make sure that you've got, the husband and wife, and when the wife passes away, now they have to make sure that everything gets updated so that it goes to the proper people. So
Conversations that need to be had.
It's no fun, but the best thing you can do is to plan and make a list and tell somebody where things are. That's kind of the key.
All right, Andrea Cave, thanks so much. Have a question for the expert? Send an email. AskTheExpert@today'stmj4.com. We'll also take a voicemail from you. That number is right there on your screen.